The Music Man is a dog. He is here to sell trombones that don't exist and get his dick wet. Fun fact, the name Flanders descends from the Old English word flot, meaning filled with water. And as the human body is 50 to 60% water, Ned Flanders is certainly that. Although more importantly, I'm pretty sure that's the reason that the holodeck character made of water that Naomi Wildman plays with on Star Trek Voyager is named Flotter.
Flotter. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Oh, and Flotilla. Wait, how much water's in a tortilla? Anyhow, I'm your host, Michael Swaim, and that's the kind of info-rich yet somewhat disjointed rambling you can expect from The Simpsons Taught Me Everything. This whole month of June, we're going to be diving uncomfortably deeply into The Music Man, inspiration for the A-plot from the classic Simpsons episode Marge versus the Monorail. Along the way, we'll end up learning about the Great Depression, invention of credit, the rise of car culture, comedy of Buddy Hackett, Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, books of Eleanor Glyn, death of the American dream, stupid slang, stupid cons, and mass goddamn hysteria, among other things. I'll be joined by great folks like Danielle Radford from Dimension 20 and Honest Trailers, Brian Brushwood of Scam School and The World's Greatest Con, and fellow cracked diasporist Robert Evans, host of Behind the Bastards. So look out for those. Normally, this is where I dive right in and introduce our guest today, and indeed today's is a doozy. But since it's our very first episode, I am going to explain what the show is about and where it comes from just a little bit, and then we'll set that aside forever.
And no one will ever mention it again, under penalty of torture.
When The Simpsons premiered in 1989 as a spin-off of The Tracy Ullman Show, which is weird to remember, my dad sat me down on the couch and told me it was going to be an important part of pop culture history. To this day, I'm not sure how he called that so well.
This is exactly what Dad said would happen.
Yeah, Dad was right.
I know, kids. I'm scared, too.
I was 4 at the time, and indeed proceeded to grow up with The Simpsons as a constant fixture in my life and on our television.
Television! Teacher! Mother! Secret lover.
Now I'm a pop culture writer with a bunch of podcasts, and this is one of them. As I imagine is true for many of you, I credit The Simpsons with helping shape my sense of humor, pushing me to learn more just so I could understand all the wildly obscure and nerdlinger references woven throughout, and with contributing handily to my adult ADD diagnosis. No, I can't get you Adderall. Sorry. Can you get me Adderall? Call me. The lines are open. Because that's the thing about The Simpsons. It eschewed the more standard and comprehensible act break B-plot sitcom structure that had come before, and functioned instead much more like a series of linked jokes and single one-off ideas. Matt Groening came into the process as a master of the comic strip format and short-form cartoon gags. Embracing that sort of popcorn sensibility, The Simpsons brazenly jumps from one plot or spot in Springfield or character to the next at whim, dragging us along for the good of the joke above all else, and rewarding us for meeting the show at the top of our intelligence.
What's the point of this story?
I like stories.
The point is, this is the part I was born to play, and I honestly can't believe it took me so long to do a show just like this one. So let's. My guest today is an Emmy-nominated TV and comics writer, producer, and podcaster in his own right, who's contributed to shows like Rick and Morty and She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, and writes a bunch of Marvel books like Spider-Punk, Miles Morales, and Deadpool arcs. Most importantly for our purposes, he has also written on Futurama, which tenuously connects us to the Simpsons, and tenuous connections are the theme of the series. Hi, Cody.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Cody Ziglar, everyone.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive into this.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Well, fun. I will make it fun. But it's always, as is a deep dive into anything, and as The Simpsons taught us, like the good, the bad, and the ugly, you end up everywhere. Is anything to plug in the air right now? Probably nothing that I haven't mentioned.
No, I think you got everything. Like,
okay.
All the stuff you need to know, you got up top. So great introduction to the first episode.
Great.
I'm so glad to be here. I can't wait to they really. I mean, you'll get into this, I'm sure, in the show, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Simpsons really is such an onion as far as like a show that I could watch as a child and then think it was very funny. But as I got older, realizing what those things were referencing made me appreciate it so much more now as an adult.
I'm working on, and this show even. I'm about to turn 40, and there's that joke where Bart goes, "Ask Klaus von Bülow." And I've always, as a kid, you know that thing where you get a joke enough to laugh and go, I understand the joke structure, I accept it as a joke. But I never, ever knew, and still don't know. And now I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, that's fairly interesting. We could do an episode on that. So, like, I also just had my first kid, and I feel like just telling him, all you have to do is learn how to learn stuff. And if you're interested, pretty much everything leads to everything. You'll eventually know everything, or at least everything you're interested in. Just, like follow those interests. So speaking of following interests, I got to ask, is there anything interesting about how you ended up with the Futurama gig? Or is it like they're aware of your work as a writer and my reps talked and they hired me to write?
Well,
episodes?
it's kind of a mix. It's kind of a mix of like a boring LA story or a boring industry story, and then like an actual fun
Please give it.
gig. But like I had just gotten off Rick and Morty, a very similar like sci-fi comedy show, and my agents got me in contact with Futurama. They said they're doing a reboot. I was like, oh great, I'd love to have this meeting. But the cool thing about the meeting is it was just me, David X Cohen, the showrunner, and Matt. Matt.
He's the one
Groening.
who's actually my idol.
Yeah, he's great. He's
David.
such a smart, sweet, nice, incredibly funny man. But it was just the interview was just me and those two, and we were just talking, and like maybe 10 minutes in, Matt was like, "So like, what are your favorite things to watch?" I just list off like my top 10 Simpsons episode, and he stopped the interview. He was like, "All right, well, this is our guy. You got the job. So what do you want to talk about now?" And we just talked about art for the next 30 minutes. It was like so weird and surreal talking with Matt and David about like our favorite jokes, our favorite TV shows, like our favorite like comic books. Like it was like the most low stakes job interview I've ever had in my life, and like that's the energy that they basically had for the series of the show. Like everyone's laid back. You can tell they've been working with each other forever since like Harvard days.
Right, of course.
Matt's still plugged in. He's still got thoughts, and he's still funny. He's still sharp. And he's also like the nicest, kindest guy I've ever had the pleasure to work with. So like, it truly was like a cool mix of like typical like industry had this meeting, but then like meeting with the people and realizing they were actually real human beings is like great. Yeah, it was one of my craziest, surrealist moments I've had.
And I would have guessed that Matt is still finds it fun to at least come in and shoot the shit and is still sharp, but it's nice to hear it validated for sure, that recently at least. How did that work in the modern like post-COVID era? Was there a writer's room? Did you just circulate it around, or what was that?
Yeah, so it's post-COVID, so like nothing but Zoom. Everyone was in Zoom, which was nice because like some of the writers were, one of them's in like was on the East Coast, who's now in Canada. One of them was in Washington, so like we were all sort of all over the place. And Matt would sometimes zoom in from Hawaii, where he has one of his houses. And I was going back and forth between the West Coast and East Coast too. So like, it was great for me as far as like flexibility. Also, again, you can tell those guys have been working together forever because they just know how to like craft a joke, and like truly just watching them craft a joke and being like, oh, there are like levels to this is like really, it was like just a master class in like how to be funny.
Joke math is what we call it when Cracked had a real writer's room. And I will say it's not necessary to make the content good. You can totally do Zoom.
Yeah.
You can even do, it's just slower paced, emailing the script back and forth a bunch.
Yeah.
But there is something very Aaron Sorkin romantic about being in the room and being like, no, the shoe should be a dick falling out of his, a baguette. Oh, because of the French thing from earlier. That's the joke. That sucked, but you know what I mean.
No, it's fun. It's also fun watching, like, this is like just insight into the room, but like, there's this phrase that everyone sort of loved and hated to hear, but whenever David was like, I'm going to say the 4 words that everyone hates to hear, we need sign jokes. So like, there would be moments when like, you'd see like, they'd be entering a town and like, we would need just like, everyone would write like a dozen fake titles for like, restaurants or like movies. There's like a bit in like, I think the first episode back where like, they're scrolling through like a Hulu type show and there's like maybe 24 fake TV shows that we all had like write fake names for. Like all that stuff was very, very fun. Like it was it was so cool just being like, oh, this is what each individual writer's personality and sense of humor is.
And probably so interesting. I'm sure it wasn't the last thing because you've written for Rick and Morty and like they do sign jokes. And then you're working with these guys and you're like, this show is kind of why Rick and Morty does sign jokes. Not that no one can think of what if there was a joke in the background or whatever. But the Rick and Morty sign jokes does feel in the tradition of the Simpsons sign jokes, which is so you're like, now I'm at the goddamn
it's just cool
lead
seeing
vampire
those like seeds, like, you know, the Simpsons, how it led to Futurama, and like hearing them tell like all their war stories from the Simpsons, and like talking about like, oh yeah, when Conan turned in the script for well, I guess he wrote this episode, like they would talk a lot about like
he did
the old guys and like the old days and like how they would break certain jokes. It was a completely surreal moment.
My closest analogous experience was at San Diego Comic-Con when I was in line with my dad, whose name is Bart. And that, it's like that movie Hero where he has to get closer and closer to the Emperor.
Yeah.
You stood in line to get a Simpsons drawing from one of the animators, and Matt just signed them at the end. But my dad said he wanted Bart because his name was Bart. Matt overheard that, said, bring them over here. I'll draw him a Bart. And did a, you know, like, hey, I'm sorry I ruined your name, bro. You know, because he's a cool guy doing some fan service. And then as he was there, I was like, can I get a bongo? And he's like, your kid knows bongo from Life in Hell? And he drew me like a whole Life in Hell stack.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
So anyway, let's get into the topic of the day. I'm going to bombard you with jokes and information. You can interrupt at any time. The more you do, the longer you're here. I don't know, sort of self-regulating. The Simpsons reference I started my investigation with this month was the Monorail song, which we all know as the song that ends mono-do.
Mono, don't!
And has the Mr. Snrub joke in it. I'm sure you're familiar.
I've sold monorails to Brockway, Ogdenville, and North Haverbrook, and by gum, it put them on the map.
Well, that idea of a slick-talking musical huckster blowing into town to sell everyone on false hopes and dreams is based on The Music Man, a musical first staged in 1957 and released as a film in 1962, but based in 1912. And it is this which forms the basis of our first game. You ready to play a game, Cody?
Yeah,
this is how this is also going to go. Okay. This musical, for the record, starts with a number called Rock Island, which goes like along with the train tracks. Chugga, 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 chugga forms the bass line. It's a train full of traveling salesmen, and they are saying some of the dumbest shit I have ever skibbity-rizzed.
Bell ringing, big hole, great go, neck or nothing, rip roaring every time a bullseye.
As such, I thought we'd kick things off by playing some essentially Balderdash today, if you know that game, but if you don't, I don't even need to explain it. With real 1912 slang.
Oh, God. Okay.
Much of it from The Music Man. So if you've seen The Music Man, that will help you, but not for all of it. Are you ready for a game of Slang Wang, Cody?
Yeah, I cannot wait.
Slang Wang! All right. I'm going to hit you with a term, and you're either going to guess what it means or challenge, because some are made up, or not 1912 slang. All right, here we go. Slang Wang. 2-bit thimble rigger.
Oh, I'm going to guess it's someone who has shoddily put something together, or someone who's like sort of a huckster.
2 bits is the giveaway that it's real. I think most of us know that one. 2 bits is 25 cents for some reasons. I guess money used to be like 12.5 cents would buy you something. But thimble rigging is the old term for the cup and shell con man game, which I also learned about from The Simpsons.
Okay.
Where you'd go like follow the ball, follow the ball, follow the key.
So it's a con man basically.
Yeah, 2-bit thimble riggers like con man. In fact, in the 18th century, a thimble was the word for watch. A thimble twister was like an orphan kid who stole pocket watches, and a thimble crib was a watch repair shop. Yeah. Well, I'm a downright thimble twister. All right, next up, shapoopy.
Shapoopy? I'm going to say that's fake.
That is the name of one of the most popular songs from this musical. So now I know your level of familiarity with the music.
Yeah, about.
And shapoopy means hardcore fucking.
What context would you use that for?
As in, it's 1912, so we can't say anything about sex. So then they went away and shapoopy.
Okay,
shapoopy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Conchi.
Conchi? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say money. He's got a lot of conchi.
Good guess. Conscientious objector to World War I.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Conshupi.
Conshup. Pass. That's gotta be fake, right?
Hardcore fucking a conscientious objector to World War I.
What?
I made that one up.
Okay.
All right. Acknowledge the corn. Cody, can you acknowledge the corn, please?
Is that like can you like take hold of the situation? Is it like it's like you gotta bear down and acknowledge the corn. We gotta know the problem here. Is that what that sort of means?
Bingo.
Okay.
Yeah, like stop pussyfooting around and address the issue. Can we acknowledge the corn? The corn is the issue. Inherit the wind.
Oh, that's real. That means like maybe like accept destiny, right?
Well, it's one of my tricky ones. It's not made up, but it's actually a reference to a biblical passage and a name for a 60s movie about the court battle around teaching evolution in schools. Good movie. Good movie. Fake, though. V-Spot.
That's gotta be real. I was like, this is like the cool place to be, right? There's the spot, right?
$5 bill. Also would have accepted money.
Oh, wait, they call that the spot? They call the
V-Spot. I think because of the Roman numeral 5 after thinking about it.
V-Spot. I said D-Spot. Oh, that makes sense.
V-Spot. I'm sorry.
V-Spot. No.
Oh, okay. Well, ding me half a point, judges, for not enunciatedly. G-Spot.
Oh, yeah, that's a real thing. I don't know what it means in that context, though.
Made up. No, I don't believe it's real. Well, if you could explain it to me after, I do have questions.
Yeah, I'll send some documents over your way.
Okay, but I just threw it in because I was hoping to like bring it up so we could talk later. Not on your kidney plaster. Not on your.
That
kidney
sounds
plaster,
real. That sounds like something you would say.
It'd be difficult for me to make up, but what does it mean?
Not maybe like not on your life, like not don't bet your life on it. Is that what that's what it means? Not on your kidney plaster. No. Oh, okay.
I'll accept that because that's what it means. And I can't segue gracefully into this, so I'll just say I did want to know what kidney plaster was my real reason for including this one, which it turns out are just painkiller patches that were kidney shaped that Johnson & Johnson sold using an ad that became so legendary that they kept the same ad for 30 years.
Oh,
and
wow.
if you find the ad online, we can include it in the show notes or whatever. It's an okay colored pencil drawing of two people's backs as they look at the ocean on an unremarkable day, and it says kidney plaster. And
that's your 30s, man.
What word? Kidney plaster. All right, Voot, V-O-O-T, Voot.
Like get someone out of here, like voot them out of here.
Voot. Oh, like yeet.
Yeah. Let's voot them out.
Money. Also meant money. Smort. S-M-O-O-R-T. Smort.
Smort. That sounds like a made up Rick and Morty name. I'm gonna say it's a fake word.
You got me. Napoo. N-A-P-O-O. Napoo.
Napoo, like taking a nap?
Dead.
So
basically, he's napoo.
He's taking a napoo.
Zotst.
Drunk. Or high. Like he's
Drunk, that makes more sense, but murdered, specifically murdered. Consciaputstby.
Conscientious objector that loves having sex with each other.
You know the joke I'm building toward, but as a fellow comedy writer, hardcore fucking a dead, murdered, conscientious objector to World War I. Noodle juice. Now think it through, because I still don't. I guess ramen would be what I'd think.
Yeah. I was gonna say
it's
like
not,
soup.
No, it's not. I don't understand why.
Get your noodle juice.
So it's just something.
Is it a booze or something?
Tea. But they don't seem like noodles. Or what makes tea material noodles? Tea.
The drink, or is it like is it the precursor to hot gossip?
No, marijuana. Marijuana.
That one's good actually.
10-cent box.
Oh, is it like 10-cent box? Is that like a shoebox or something?
A taxi cab.
Costs 10 cents. Those prices don't align to these days.
A 5-cent box.
Ooh, bus. Is that a bus?
Your mom's vagina, Cody.
Oh shit.
Slang Wang is our final entry. Slang Wang.
I'm gonna say it's fake. Is it made up?
No, it's real. It's to invent slang on the fly to attack or intimidate someone. See previous example, 5-cent box.
Nice.
All right. 1 billion points. Hi. Yours truly, the other honest ads guy, with another of my namesakes. An ad which is honest, and honestly today, I'm excited to be sponsored by Mint Mobile. Cell phones are amazing, but slowly but surely, keeping your service running smoothly or dealing with your provider has become frankly a nightmare. And it's striking that I can say that without mentioning any specific phone company, and yet everyone at home is like, yeah, that's so true. That's why Mint came along with a pretty simple idea. What if we provided excellent phone service at a reasonable price and took a pass on all the extra nonsense that has slowly encrusted the legacy carriers like so much money barnacle? I like it when companies do that, and Mint seems like one of those. Plans start at $15 a month, and you can even do that thing where you buy 3, 6, or 12 months at once, and they cut you even deeper discounts. Mint Mobile boasts the nation's largest 5G network and a 96% customer care rating. So, right now, at the link below, new customers can nab a premium wireless plan starting at, as previously mentioned, $15 a month. Check it out if it is relevant to your needs. I'm not making you get it, just check it out. It's fine. Hey, bud, it's gonna be fine. So, now, much like The Simpsons, you might be wondering if we're ever gonna talk about The Music Man. So let's talk about The Music Man and what it's actually about. Cody, what's your deal vis-a-vis The Music Man, musicals in general? Do you like musicals? Do you know musicals?
I have the very baseline of musicals. I don't love that many musicals, but the ones that I do enjoy, I really love. Singing in the Rain, Blues Brothers, like my top two favorite musicals.
If you count just movies like the Disney standouts and stuff, it's like, well, sure, I like blah blah and blah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not a big theatrical musical guy, but I will say most of my musical insights have been coincidentally through animated shows. So it has been like The Simpsons. Whenever they do a musical number,
writers like musicals. Conan likes musicals.
Yeah, whenever they do a musical number, I would then retroactively realize, oh, this is based off a actual thing. So like that's about the breadth of my knowledge. I'm very much a novice when it comes to musicals.
Yeah, similarly, like shout out, Hades Town, Jesus Christ Superstar, and a few things I really love. But for the most part, I only knew The Music Man enough to know it's that thing which the Monorail song is referencing. Yeah. Okay, great. So here we go. Let's all learn. And I think there's a couple standout songs where you go, oh, that song. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, The Music Man, as I said, was a hit Broadway show made into a movie in 1962, and again with Matthew Broderick and Kristen Chenoweth for the Disney Channel in 2003. That's the last time we'll mention that version, since they're pretty identical, and obviously the 1962 one inspired the Simpsons bit. The premise is, what if some piece of shit blew through town and fucked everything up? Isn't love grand? And those things are about as connected as I make it sound.
And don't forget to purchase some orange drink for the long ride home.
The main character, Harold Hill, goes around as a fake traveling salesman selling towns on the idea of setting up a marching band to keep their kids off the streets and out of trouble, collects the cash, and bails. But when he tries to run the scam in River City, Iowa, he accidentally catches feelings and wins over the town's stubborn virginal librarian, earning her and the town's forgiveness in the process and giving up his wicked ways. Although, by wins over, I mean he harasses Marion at work and constantly hard sells her despite her repeated requests to please be left alone.
Also, grifts used to be so much bigger in scope than they are now.
Now it's this town.
It's like an Instagram, fake Instagram or an email. Like back then, he was trying to trick an entire town into buying fake things. I missed the scope and scale of a good grift.
Oh, I know. When it actually involved Three's Company legwork, where he's like, all right, I'm going to have to pretend to miss Doubtfire for a month to make this scam work. That was earning it. But of course, in the end, it turns out he was right in thinking that she secretly wanted him to be really aggressive and pursue her like that. And that was good. And here's that clip where she explains that.
One can't expect a traveling salesman to stay put. I know there have been many ports of call, and there'll be many more. Still, I can be grateful for what you've left behind for me.
So grateful.
Yeah, I love that in this version of Traveling Salesman is like a gunslinger from old. He just rolls into town to do his duty and leave.
A woman in every station, but specifically a con man. He is not representing in fact, the other salesmen are, livid that he's giving them a bad name in the opening number. So he's the bad boy of the group. It was written by a man Surprise. Meredith Willson wrote that monologue that we just played. He also wrote The Unsinkable Molly Brown about the rich socialite who failed to die on the Titanic.
Okay.
Yeah, Kathy Bates in the movie. And Kathy probably Bates at home, but let's leave the woman some privacy. Incidentally, Meredith Willson also wrote the Chicken Fat song, which was actually recorded on the set of The Music Man while they were taping the soundtrack for release. Robert Preston, who plays Harold Hill, also sings it. Cody, are you aware of the Chicken Fat song?
I have not. I'm actually about to write this title.
It was commissioned by the JFK administration, and it is the first song paired with, I did it growing up, but a highly different Clintonized version, the President's Council on Physical Fitness.
Oh.
President's Fitness Test, yes. And in this case, it is essentially 6 minutes of the guy from The Music Man calling you fat and telling you to knock that shit off.
All right, so it's calling you a chicken is also fat, all right.
Well, that's what's interesting is I can't tell. So it goes.
Push up every morning, 10 times push up, starting low. Once more on the rise, nuts to the flabby guys. Go, you chicken fat, go away. Go, you chicken fat, go. Get ready now for exercise 1. Stand with feet together, hands behind your head, feet apart, hands at chest, palms down, elbows shoulder level. Bend and touch your elbow to opposite raised knee. Ready, begin.
So that seems like I like that they're also including the girls in on this one. Like, you guys can get ripped too.
Oh yeah,
this is mainly for the boys.
You girls are looking sloppy out there too, ladies. Don't.
Yeah.
But so my question is, I can't even tell. Is the premise of the song that the kids are saying to their chicken fat, like, go away, my fat? Or is the singer like, get out of my sight, you little chicken fats, like you discussed?
You know, I think it could be
unclear.
Best of both worlds. I think the singer's letting loose some animosity they have, but then I think also within the story of the song, these children are saying bye to their chicken fat, which also a phrase I've never heard before, calling your stomach fat.
No, baby fat, freshman
yeah,
15.
Yeah.
I can't think of chicken fat as a... And I'm wondering if that was a term before or this song invented the concept. The logo is like a big, strong chicken who has Coach tattooed on his chest with like a little fat, dumpy cartoon chicken. But I don't even associate like Looney Tunes chickens with fatness as a thing.
Yeah.
As like a trope. Yeah. Anyway, it's very like, if people listen to the whole thing, honestly, it's very like left hook, air raid, right hook, air raid scene, if you know the scene I mean.
Raise your right hook, aerate. Raise your left hook, aerate. I want to see more Teddy Roosevelts and less Franklin Roosevelts.
Yeah, and it's weird to think of the president reviewing the lyrics nuts to the flabby guys and going like, yeah fuck those kids.
This is exactly
the
what
fat
we need.
Kids? Yeah, screw them.
I've been watching For All Mankind. I'm sorry for just to divert this tangent, but like,
no, please.
I've been watching For All Mankind, which takes place in like the 60s and 70s during NASA.
That's the space race one?
Yeah. And Kennedy's a part of it. So the idea of Kennedy commissioning that song while also dealing with the space race is it's just a very fun concept to me.
We must get to the moon. President, real quick, way less stakes. We know that. Your life's complicated. But can we make fun of the fat kids like aggressively? Will that help them lose weight? Sure, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I play the It's Okay to Cheat on Me monologue and the Fat Kids Suck song is that it exemplifies a kind of thoughtlessness that was institutionally acceptable in the 60s when the movie came out, but even more so in the 50s when Wilson wrote a thing that he is imagining what con men in 1912 would be like. So we're getting like several layers of a guy being like, and these guys are rascals. What are like scurrilous guys of that era like? So the Music Man, I think through modern eyes, sort of has this level of just meanness that is coming back in a big way in America. Sometimes referred to by Gen Alphas as no-cap white male supremacy. And although that is not the overall topic of this podcast, it comes up a lot because it is a many-headed hydra of desperation and hate that we all must band together to cauterize with our courageous love before time runs out. For example, just the way choreographers in this movie try to stage the actors to imply this is very like romantic right now. Like, oh, you can tell they're into each other is super rapey. by
yeah.
if you drew a
Yeah.
diagram, it's like
Yeah.
a triangle against someone leaning
Yeah.
slightly away.
Yeah.
Like I can hear the director being like, get up on her, Charlie. No.
Yeah, lean in. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so she can feel your wet breath on her neck,
Yeah.
lest she stir your wrath. Flirty.
Yeah. They're always so aggressive in that era of movie.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the big lean in and a lot of the like strong arm hold when they're touching a woman.
Yes. Yeah. Tons of touching, tons of ushering from the small back, things like that. Again, this is not going to be a podcast where we just ding it. But other things I do take issue with through modern eyes, just so we can put this all in context, or that like bumped me. There's a song called Pick a Little, Talk a Little, that literally compares a group of middle-aged housewives to like, all right, you hens clucking over there.
Yeah.
And the camera pans up and they go like, she said what? Pick a little, talk a little.
Yeah,
She said what?
there you go. Yeah. That's classic 50s humor for you.
And if you think naming a destructive storm after a woman is sexist, you obviously have never seen the gals grabbing for items at a clearance sale.
It's true, but he shouldn't say it.
Then, of course, as mentioned, there's a song called Shapoopy, which is specifically about the old rule that the third date is the accepted sex date. And there's a follow-up song they're singing like over in the barn to that song called The Sadder But Wiser Girl, which points out from the con man's clever perspective. This also reminded me of A King of the Hill, if you know the one where Boomhauer teaches Bobby how he flirts. The Sadder But Wiser Girl is about how, you can get laid more easily, like if you only go out after women who have historically put out and had sex a lot before.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, right? To get laid. So I like
course,
the sadder but wiser girl. Sad because she's ruined. She's valueless now. That song, also, the con men literally sing to a little girl. It's just two con men and the little girl. And they're like coaching her. And at the end, she laughs and claps at how funny that song was, which I think is called Grooming.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that this movie from the 50s isn't the most delicately handled these type of things. But I do want to hear this song now just because I want to know how explicit the lyrics are.
Now, woman who kissed on the very first date is usually a hussy.
To a young miss who keeps resisting all the time she keeps insisting. I smell.
The real point is, and you can trust me on it, the Music Man is a dog. He is here to sell trombones that don't exist and get his dick wet. But wait, there's more. How about the wife of the town's mayor leading an indoctrination chant dressed as Lady Liberty, being like, America, you owe America your loyalty and your vigilance. Then she goes, and next up, I'm going to put on a Native American headdress and lead the kids in a racist war dance before teaching the whole group, this is one of the musical numbers, to count to 20 in the Indian tongue.
Oh boy.
According to the Indigenous Language Institute, there were at one point over 300 indigenous languages spoken in America. Way fewer now, for some reason I didn't look into. But I don't know which one that means is the Indian tongue.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's just gobbledygook that they are speaking. I guess an actual native language that they're speaking.
They literally. Well, it's funny because they don't show the restraint of not doing it at all. She does the war dance, and then she goes like to say Indian language. Forgive me for saying it that way, but like that's the context they presented in, and then another musical number like.
Oh wow!
Intercedes,
Yeah.
And again, Mrs. Shin, I think her name is not presented as a racist piece of shit, which is she is to modernize, but she is presented as the curmudgeon that like, boy, she's a little intense, and it's like, I guess that's the 1912 way you want to phrase that.
Yeah.
And I do, of course, want to say, Cody, I didn't bring you here to represent marginalized people. Racism just came up naturally because it's intrinsic to America. But I do expect you to speak for all TV comedy writers as we play our next game.
Okay.
Can you represent all television comedy writers?
I will put on the crown. It will be heavy, but I will be happy to do it.
As a monolith. Here we go. Great. Okay. Well, we'll get to it in like 8 minutes. It requires setup. Here we go. This will all come into play in the game. Pay attention. So if you already do know any songs from the Music Man through sheer cultural osmosis, it's probably 76 trombones in the big parade, or more likely, You Got Trouble. You Got Trouble right here in River City with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Do you know that one?
No, I do not know.
Neither. Great.
Yeah.
Well, You Got Trouble is sort of the propaganda song that Harold sings to convince the townspeople that a marching band will save their kids from like sin and vice and keep them out of the street. And specifically, his scare tactic is the new pool hall in town, which has an all-gender restroom. No, it's not.
Ooh,
It's just by virtue of pool itself.
Yeah.
Pool halls at the time were associated with gambling, underage
seedy,
drinking, smoking, smooching. But billiards is respectable as presented in The Music Man, something I could not figure out after researching. But pool is like the dirty version of
it's like
table.
the common man.
Yeah. And at this time in some states, which I also had no idea actually, which seems ignorant of me, cigarettes were illegal. I knew about prohibition. I did not know there were many states with no smoking. Yeah. So Iowa at this time, Iowa included, this is where people would hang out to smoke cigarettes, and the cops would look the other way. That's where you can smoke. Oh, wow, right?
Okay.
So, because this show is whatever I want it to be, as long as there's at least a tangential connection to the next thing, here's a clip of Gwendolyn Brooks, the first black author to receive a Pulitzer Prize, reciting her poem, We Real Cool, which expresses a similar concern, but much more eloquently than The Music Man.
This poem has been banned here and there because of the word jazz, which some people have considered a sexual reference. That was not my intention, though I have no objection if it helps anybody. But I was thinking of music.
We real cool. The pool players, 7 at the Golden Shovel. We real cool, we left school, we lurk late, we strike straight, we sing sin, we thin gin, we jazz June, we die soon.
But see, yes, even like high art people writing Pulitzer Prize winning poetry, we're also thinking like, I don't trust those pool halls. I'm pretty scared of those pool halls. So people at the time feared pool. They feared gambling. Gambling, I think, is a little more justified. These were considered corrupting influences. So the YouTube suggests algorithm of the time, if you will. And as described by Harold Hill in the song You Got Trouble, there were some telltale ways to see if your kid was already on the slippery slope to enjoying themselves, to finding their own identities.
Do you find your kid chalking random sticks?
Exactly. Now it's a very Family Guy series of observations now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give Cody those examples now. When your son leaves the house, does he rebuckle his knickerbockers below the knee? I couldn't find out why. It's like, is that where he hides his cigarettes? I don't know. Is there a nicotine stain on his index finger? That would make sense. Is there a dime store novel hidden in the corn crib? Is he starting to memorize jokes from Cap'n Billy's Whiz Bang?
Does she leave the room when she takes phone calls? Does she keep perfume in her purse? Does she shower before sex? Does she shower after sex? Does she...
Now, obviously, there is a standout name check there, and it rhymes with Zappin' Silly's Pisswang.
Yeah.
After much research, I was able to determine that Cap'n Billy's was, in fact, a comedy magazine, a predecessor to things like Mad and Crack.
Oh,
so,
cool.
For our first pod, I figured, as two people who have worked as joke writers in exchange for money, which I hesitate to say like professionally, we would go through some of the most whiz-bang real jokes from the 1910s, very popular comedy magazine, Cap'n Billy's, and you as a professional comedy writer representing them all will tell me why each one is very, very funny.
Okay.
All right. This is the Soapy Wiggle Shimmy. And if you don't get that reference from 1919, you're in for a bumpy ride.
Oh, boy.
Clue, it loosely translates to, yo, lady, show us your tits, for reasons I would have to explain.
Okay, gotcha.
Which sets up the tone for a lot of these jokes. Okay?
Perfect.
All right.
Can't wait.
Cody, why is this joke very, very funny? To settle a dispute, please tell me what disease is caused from the microbe of a kiss. Palpitation of the heart.
Wait, one more time?
Take all the time you need. Why is this very good joke? To settle a dispute, please tell me what disease is caused from the microbe of a kiss. Palpitation of the heart.
Oh, my God. That seems like a riddle a Sphinx would give you in order to get the treasure. Heart attack? I have no idea.
0 points. Answer: love is a disease, Cody. What we hate drives us onward.
That's right. That's back when
what we love softens us and kills us.
Yeah, that's right. Back when hard men hated having their wives and
that's
girlfriends.
Right.
Okay.
Now, because you did not answer word for word my joke answer, that's 0 points. So let's try.
Okay.
Let's try and do better.
Yeah.
Okay, but you get how this goes now. Why is this joke very, very funny? Captain Billy, can you give me the technical name for snoring? Sheet music.
Sheet music? Because in church, I'm assuming they would do music and you'd fall asleep to the sheet music in church.
I'm sorry, no. At the time, classical music was still relevant. 0 points. Why is this joke very, very funny? Old King Cole was a merry old soul. Don't doubt it for a minute. He called for his pipe and he called for his bowl, and the bowl had something in it.
Oh, smoking some weed. All right.
Yes,
All right.
but you needed to say T to get the point. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
0 points. That one was a test and you failed, pothead. Why is this joke very, very funny? I love jokes that do, like we do it now. We go like, me, everyone else. So it's one of those, like a play.
Okay.
He, are you free tonight, dearie, for an engagement? She, no, I was last Friday, but I'm not free tonight. Cody, why is that?
Oh, it's because she got engaged last week, right? Is that the joke? Is that the joke?
I don't know. It haunts me. I don't know.
That's what I'm assuming. Is like,
Great.
I'm not engaged because I'm all right. I got engaged last week. That would
awesome. I'm gonna give you a point for that.
Thank you.
It will let me sleep at night. Yeah. All right. Why is this joke very, very funny? Mary had a little ruffle. I discovered it by chance. Just a dainty little ruffle on the bottom of her underskirt.
Oh, okay. My man was getting a little sexual. He was going up that lady's skirt and he felt the tuffle of hair.
The labia.
Yeah.
And I know because later the same joke writer describes it as pastrami, which I will never forget.
Cool.
And also, of course, the poem set up a rhyme for pants with chance, which was slang for a woman's panties, but swaps it for the more polite underskirt for a classic comedy zigzag.
Yeah.
The first recognizable joke maneuver so far to me in the list. Why is this joke very, very funny? The teacher was explaining to her class the difference between concrete and abstract. Concrete, she said, is that which can be seen. Abstract, that which cannot be seen. Willie, give me an example of the concrete. My pants, said Willie. Good, said the teacher. Now give me an example of the abstract. Yours.
That's a really funny joke. So Billy is concrete because he has an erect penis and he's visualizing his teacher without her pants on so that we would have sex, which is that's a solid joke. Solid
the panties thing. The kid wants to see his teacher's panties. All right. Why is this joke very, very funny? Why won't they allow Army aviators to take up female passengers in airplanes? I am told that too many of the pilots went blind while looping the loop.
Oh, okay. So they would do loops, and I'm assuming the women passenger skirts dresses would fall.
They want to see those sweet panties, baby.
Yeah, they want to see those pantaloons in the 1912s.
There's nothing funnier than seeing a woman's panties non-consensually. Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Why is this joke very, very funny? Don't you think the short skirts the girls wear make us lots shorter? Yes, Daisy, but they make the men look lots longer.
Oh, yeah, because the men are getting erect penises from looking
big from the panties.
Yeah.
Why is this joke very, very panties? Silk stockings come down is the joyful scream that hits up from headlines. Smatter. Garters going up?
What?
I can't fully tell what it means, Cody, but I can tell it's panties adjacent. Can't you?
Yeah, I guess.
Let's work this one out together.
Yeah.
Silk stockings coming down is the joyful scream that hits up the headlines. No, I can't. I have to pass.
Yeah, I have no idea what. I guess it's a place where
garters going up. Yeah, apostrophe SMATTER.
What's the matter? What's the matter? Oh,
garters going up.
Yeah. Yep. You know what? I'm lost on this one.
Like, okay, we're moving. We get
Yeah.
admit defeat. Almost there. Are we almost there? I don't know. Let's keep going till it runs out. Why is this joke very, very funny, Cody? Huh? I demand you tell me why this is funny. Here we go. I am lame. Halt. This is in, by the way, a list of like, Dear Captain Whizbangs, what's your advice? Sort of premise, right? I am lame, halt, nearly blind, and 85 years old. What do you think I should work at? Captain Billy suggests you apply for the position of gardener in a young woman's seminary.
I guess you applied to die. Is that what I mean? Like you'd be fertilizer? Is that what that joke is saying? Like you're applying to be a gardener?
That's great. And I'll be honest, I posted this one to the Small Beans Discord, and I got like 8 where I'm like, could easily be. That's a great, which is so interesting about joke writing, actually, to me.
Yeah.
That I never really thought about before. But I'm pretty sure after a lot of research that the intended interpretation is, once a man is too old to work, he's as worthless as a plant, just sitting there, creating oxygen, making all life on Earth possible, like a parasite. So perhaps if he plants his seed in a young woman's semen place, that will renew his vigor. So he should go work in a garden at a convent because it's challenging for him to have sex, making it appropriate to pair him with aspiring nuns, aka women who don't have sex and have also abdicated their worth to society.
Great setup.
Back to the game. Okay. An easy one. I didn't like her apartment, so I knocked her flat.
Nice.
Explain
it. This person had sex with her. It seems like he. That's what I'm guessing.
I mean, it could be a hookup. Yeah. I've read it as using wordplay to imply domestic abuse.
Yeah, that's
for not showing you my panties. You don't want to show me your panties. Pow.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I didn't get
so
that,
I
but
hit her. Why is this joke very, very funny? Mr. and Mrs. George D. Stagg, with 2 G's, if it matters, I don't know, of San Bernardino, California, are proud to announce that they're the parents of a baby boy. Mr. Stagg is still in the military hospital.
Oh, so I guess this lady had a child, but the husband was not there. Is that what they're saying? Like she had a
stag party, or did the kid have antlers? These are the
things. Can I hear the joke one more time?
Mr. and Mrs. George D. Stagg of San Bernardino, California, are proud to announce they're the parents of a baby boy. Mr. Stagg is still in the military hospital. Do they mean the baby is in the hospital? They mean the... Right, so do the names not matter? Does it just mean this guy's wife's baby is not his baby? End of joke.
I think that's what it's implying.
Okay. Why did I make this so long? We're so close. See where the girls are putting wings on their slippers. That ought to spend up the high flyers.
See where the girls are spending the money, putting the
See where the girls are putting wings on their slippers. That ought to spend up the high flyers. I'm going to speed us along. Trick question. Joke was written by AI in the style of Captain Willie's.
That's why it doesn't. Okay.
Almost penultimate joke. There's no way to totally protect yourself from the effect of your upbringing. When I was a child, I didn't like wearing pants. You'll never find a dog as big as that one.
I guess he doesn't wear pants anymore.
Trick question joke was written by a random sentence generator.
Okay.
Finally, why is this joke very, very funny? And I promise we end with a real joke from Captain Billy's Whiz Bang. The setup to the joke, like one side of the popsicle stick, is, Captain Billy, what's your opinion of regulated public dance halls for the youth? And do you believe there is a cure for the alleged dance evil? Captain Billy says, I say on with the dance. Let joy be unconfined. There's gladness unabated since Maggie Murphy dined. Did you, my dear Ichabod, ever see a tea kettle bubble, dance, sing, and boil over? That was the effect. The pep, fire, and energy besoothed it was the cause. You can't put out fire by removing a tea kettle to a cooler spot. Therefore, you can't cure evil thinking by doing away with dancing. Fire, pep, internal energy is the natural result we get from the disgusting habit we have of eating. Consequently, if we remove the cause, which is eating, evil thinking or dancing, which is the effect, will cure themselves. Did you scan that? Last chance for a combined victory.
I have no idea what that. I have no idea. That is such. I'm trying to imagine the popsicle where like it just gets longer and longer as the person is reading the B side of that.
What the joke is, if all the kids were dead because we didn't feed them and they died of starvation, they wouldn't dance or have sex or go to pool halls, and that would solve everything.
Got you.
Oh my God! Thank Christ, Little Pink Panties. That is the end of the game. After an exhaustive tally, you wrapped up with, I believe, 1 point. Hey, go fuck yourself. Now we come near the end of the show, the part where I masterfully tie everything together to reveal that there was a plan in place all along. Try to say something meaningful and hopefully earn your subscription. It's a cheap but effective format I picked up from The Simpsons. Let's make it feel important.
This is the part of the job I hate.
Ultimately, the intention behind The Music Man is something I can appreciate. Its core message is that the honest love of a good partner can tame a wicked one, or at least catalyze positive change or convince them to want to change. And even more crucially, that all love for a shy librarian, love for your hometown, love of money, is an act of shared delusion in the end. Existentialism loosely teaches that nothing inherently means anything, that all meaning is therefore invested by thinking animals who make a choice to ascribe meaning to anything they want, for good or ill. Paper money works because we believe it does. Staying in your marriage is a daily choice to keep investing in that relationship. Tinkerbell will live if we all clap, no matter how bad our kid's acting was. That doesn't make things meaningless. On the contrary, it empowers you as the person living your life to make meaning consciously, invest it wisely, and form a moral code of your own that brings you closer to your best self. In the musical, this is exemplified by the whole town of River City forgiving Harold for his despicable cons through sheer force of will. And I mean literally. The guy publicly stands on the statue of the town founder in the middle of town square.
Murderous mob! I beg you to spare our lives!
And admits his sins to an adorable little boy with a lisp.
Can you lead a band?
No.
Are you a big liar?
Yes, there are two things you're entitled to know. One, you're a wonderful kid. That's why I wanted you in the band.
What band?
I always think there's a band, kid.
I abandoned my boy. But out of nowhere, the day is saved when, moved by witnessing his love for their beloved librarian Marion, oh hey, I just got that. The town decides to throw a march anyway. The kids throw on rented crap and pretend to play instruments, and all the parents clap and holler and act proud like it's a real marching band, and the magic of film makes that come stupendously, magically true. So the point wasn't the band or the pool halls, it was giving the kids something fun to do and the parents something to be proud of. Who needs props and costumes for that?
I never saw Gallagher again.
The problem, as we've discussed, is that as meaning moves around from one generation to another, and as people misuse or abuse it, good intentions start to feel a little hollow or narrow or like creepy even. From Marion's perspective, this love story is a nightmare. From the town's, they still absolutely got scammed. Nothing mitigates that. From the modern perspective, the movie's got overt racism and misogyny treated as fun for the whole family. And I know all musicals kind of scan as a conformity symbolism because of the nature of choreography, but seriously, check out the library scene. It's like the cover of Multiplicity. Just friendly seeming identical white guys who turn out to also be gross Beetlejuice-esque demons who want to marry your 14-year-old daughter.
Please make your selection and leave.
I have.
What do you want to take out?
The librarian.
The opening scene of The Music Man is set on a train as all the traveling salesmen compare notes. Among other things, they reference the phasing out of handshake credit, like a friendly bar tab between neighbors, and how now everything needs to be cash only. Little did they know, that train sped through an oasis between credit systems that may never exist again. From the vantage of those characters, The first actual credit card, the Diners Club card, is still 40 years away. But let's give credit for credit where credit is due. Long before cards, by the 20s and 30s, getting easy bank credit was such a problem, it reached a point where banks were taking out loans from each other to put into their own risky stock market speculations. Speculation. Noun. The forming of a theory or conjecture without firm evidence, or, as Captain Billy might say, what a lady's physician intends upon the act of producing his speculum. An extension of money, the stock market is the ultimate Tinkerbell, who in this metaphor doubles as a canary in the coal mine. Easy credit culture led to a market panic shattering the country's faith in the big chart of fake money that rules us all, an event we now call the Great Depression. That and the rise of car culture meant that breadwinners needed to roam further and further from home to make ends meet, giving us the golden age of the traveling salesman. Increased public transport and car access also meant people didn't walk literally everywhere and only shower once a week, which is the secret history reason every picture of a bus station in 1935 is just a sea of fedoras. Stink blockage.
Aw, jeez, and you got the stink lines and everything?
In 1930, in response to the Great Depression, President Herbert Hoover signed the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act.
I like the way Snrub thinks.
Which was a protectionist act designed to force America to make things again and stop buying foreign products. This, it was reasoned, would put the economy back on track and decrease unemployment, which at the time the bill was signed was at 8%, a concerning number. By 1932, that number was 25%, and the vast shanty towns unhoused Americans set up to support one another's survival were called Hoovervilles.
Oh.
So maybe Trump towns this time.
Yeah.
He does like his name on stuff. Elon said to just call them X units, but he says that about everything. The point is, as Vonnegut said so usefully in his book about Nazis, Mother Night, we are what we pretend to be, so we must be careful about what we pretend to be. In The Music Man, they settle on total lockstep conformity, marching around wearing red costumes, insisting against all evidence that a bunch of great stuff is happening that actually isn't. You know, love conquers all. Okay, of course. Thank you again so much for riding along with me on my very first episode, not knowing what the format of the show would be. Super means a lot, especially someone of your talent.
Oh, of course. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
I love learning new slang.
And love chatting with you always. So, yeah, we're still tweaking the details of the format. People out there, write in, tell me what you hate. If you like the show, I don't want to hear it. Just tell me what you hate. Yeah, anywhere people can find you on socials, and then from there stay abreast of what you got going on.
Yeah, just check out Yay for Zig on Instagram and Blue Sky. And, you know, if you're listening to the show, I'm assuming you like Futurama, so check out Futurama on Hulu. New season will be dropping soon, I believe.
Ooh, so exciting. See another show I host, Star Trek The Next Futurama, for more on that. Okay, before I release you, because this is a Simpsons pod, you can't say something important or meaningful without undermining it immediately.
Absolutely.
And showing that life is like cynical and hollow, as it can also have brief moments of daddy-daughter energy. So, let's cut through the treacle.
Might I add, eat my shorts? Bart, just cutting through the treacle.
Cutting Tea the Tea is our last game of the sode, always very short. We should try to go quickly, but honestly, I just make it up. It's whatever I think would be most fun for the guest. In your case, Cody, as a Futurama writer, I decided to hit you with a game called Futurama-Rama, which has two modes. There's a mode where I ask you 10 easy Futurama trivia questions, and you see how many you can nail in quick succession. And then there's the mode where I ask you one very hard Futurama trivia question, but you're allowed to talk it out with me. And if you get it, you've cemented your cred, and we have the boy lay out your formal shorts.
The boy, sir? You lay out my formal shorts.
Incidentally, Phil Hartman, who does the voice of Lyle Lanley in the Monorail salesman in the Simpsons episode, was originally supposed to play Zapp Brannigan, and Billy West was imitating his audition a bit in his performance, but this pod is not about that. So, I'm afraid I have to dock this time from Cody's clock. Let's play before it's too late. Cody, you want to play easy, fast, or slow, hard? Slow and hard. What mode, Code?
Maybe 10 easy because I'm curious to see the variety of questions that you have.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Well, maybe we'll save that for another game another time. No one will ever know what my Futurama stumper was. For now, we go with Futurama easy mode, clicking in. Here we go. Start the clock. Number 1, what is Bender's middle name?
Bender Bending Rodriguez.
Number 2, what grade bureaucrat was Hermes upgraded to for sorting the master in pile?
Was it 36?
37. Number 3,
37.
what does the sign above the gate to the Wong Ranch say?
If it's we wrote so many. Right place, Wong time, or if you don't, if it's writing Wong, something like that. I can't remember.
There's a few I'd accept that was in there. You've come to the Wong place is the most frequently used, but there's a few. Number 4, what is the name of Harold Zoid's terrible movie that he makes?
Oh, I don't remember, but we just referenced it. I don't remember.
The Magnificent 3. Number 5, what is dark matter made of?
Poop. It's made of Nibbler's poop.
You said poop. Number 6, what book inspired the title of the third Futurama movie?
Oh, was it Bender? Was it Bender's? Was it The Beast with Two Backs? Was that the third one?
Ender's Game. Number
Bender's
7.
Game. Ender's Game. Okay.
Who voiced Yevo?
Which one was Yevo? Oh boy, I don't know.
Yevo's the Beast with a Billion Backs. David Cross is the answer.
Oh.
Number 8, what song plays at the end of the episode about Fry's brother, and what soundtrack is it from?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Don't you forget about me, Breakfast Club
yeah.
soundtrack. Number 9, who's Leela's mom?
Oh, she's a mutant. I guess I wrote. She was in my episode too.
I know. That's why I put it on here.
God,
and yet I knew somehow.
Munda, and
buzzer beater. That's right. Turanga Munda.
Yeah.
Munda's the hard part to remember that I thought you'd get tripped up on. Number 10. Hey, Cody, I calls them like I sees them. What's my profession?
Oh boy, calls them like I sees them. Oh, are you sales?
I'm a whale biologist.
But he hates whale biology. That's the thing.
That's right. Okay.
Now let's go whip donuts at old people.
Homer says, increase your wordiness. Today's word is peculator, from the Latin peculatus. It means someone who misuses money or public resources for their own selfish gain. See above. The root pecu means cattle, which in many cultures are the first commodity to form the basis of an evolving barter or capital system. And speaking of capital, the capital letter A itself is believed to have begun as an upside-down drawing of a steer's head. It was no cap a cow, man. Okay, goodbye. Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the feed if that was fun. I think you'll have more fun as things unfold. And we'd love to hear from you. Give us a rating or review. You can also check out the Star Trek pod I mentioned, Star Trek The Next Futurama, by searching around for that title wherever you get pods. If you want to hear some of my other pods, of which there are more than 10, they're all under the Small Beans umbrella, so you can search for Small Beans or head to patreon.com/smallbeans for those. But first and foremost, see you next week, same channel, same place, same time, for another episode of The Simpsons Taught Me Everything.